Hi everybody, and welcome to Marble Horse TV. Probably check out that I'm in Bedford, just by the bus station. But yeah, I want to talk about Arteta, and it seems as if he's going to come to Arsenal. Now, Mikel Arteta, I wouldn't say he's a club legend, but I think he was a good player for us. When did he join? I think it was after 2011 we signed 5 players. Santos, remember him? Mertesacker, Arteta. There was some Japanese dude, I can't remember his name, was it Inamoto or something? Yuchiri Shuri, some Japanese dude we signed. Was it Ryo Imoshi? I can't remember. But definitely if not Japanese, somebody from like Far East Asia. And yeah, there was somebody else we signed, because I mentioned 4 players. Oh yes, Ozil and Bellerin on loan, I think it was from Chelsea, or there was another Premier League club, I can't remember where. People said there was a panic buys, because we got the mother of probably, not Premier League history, but certainly in Arsenal's history period, slappings at Old Trafford. And I think really that was one of the major turning points, well, for some at least, of the Wenger trade, as it were. But like, personally, I think Arteta was a good player for us. As I said, I wouldn't say he was a legend, but he was a good player. And, I do think that he did contribute in a deeper midfield playmaking role, kind of like how Xhaka, kind of like how Guendouzi performed today. And even though we did get humiliated, debased 8-2 at Old Trafford, we did well to get third. That was the season Man City won the league, well, for the first time in modern history anyway. Obviously Aguero, that was that season. United finished second, obviously, and I think fourth was Spurs, to be frank. I think that was one of the first seasons we pipped them to the post at the last, because we had a few of those seasons as it stood. So yeah, he was there for 12-13. Again, we pipped Spurs to the post at the last. That was the famous, or infamous from a Spurs standpoint, but famous for us, phantom equaliser at St James's Park, which obviously, I kind of intimated it never happened. I think we beat Newcastle 1-0, Koscielny scored, and then 13-14 won the FA Cup. That's the first trophy we won in 9 years, was it? After, incidentally, or ironically, the FA Cup in 2005 we beat United on penalties. I think Vieira scored the winning penalty. He was there for 2015. I think we beat Villa 4-0. We slapped them, as I recall, 4-0. And I think he scored again, ironically. It's weird how this shit matches up. Ironically, he scored against Villa again. It was technically it was probably an own goal, but I think the Premier League dubious goals panel probably gave it to him. They probably just gave him a huge blight because it wasn't his last ever game for us. And then when Pep joined Man City, that had been 2015-16. Then when Pep joined Man City, he joined Pep as his assistant, and that's how it's been with their record-breaking 100 points and record-breaking domestic treble. And you have to put respect on Pep and City's name, because it hasn't been done before. Neither have been done before. However, I'm not here just to talk about Arteta's coaching and Arsenal history. I personally don't think he's the right fit. We're in a precarious position as a club, generally on and off the pitch. Now, people think relegation is hyperbole, and the thing is, I don't think we have a right to be this arrogant just because we're the Arsenal. We got some difficult games coming up, and we could get sucked in. I'm not saying we will go down, but it's arrogant to suggest that we're too good for a relegation battle. It could easily happen. Plus we have players who aren't good enough, players who need to be coached. Stan Kroenke, to be fair to him, KSC, to be fair to them, have made changes, but with Stanelli and Edu and shit, new coaches, new training methods. But is it paying off? Is it really? So we have to wait on seeing that one. And I think if they get Arteta, for me, that should put more heat on KSC. Now, I'm not saying I want to give Arteta shit. No, you have to give him a chance. But are we in a position to take on these risks? Honestly, don't know. I don't think we are. If we were higher in the league even, I think it would be a huge risk. But I don't know. I'd have preferred, my ideal candidate to replace Emery would have been Benitez, because I think he ticks all the boxes of what we want, or at least what I want. I suppose I should qualify that. In a manager, experience, knows the Premier League, has had major success at big world football clubs, Liverpool, Chelsea, to name but two. He's not too old, still has a few years left in him, speaks good English, well respected. And I think generally someone of the stature to manage a club of our global size and scope. The thing with Arteta is that it's based more on hope and what he could do, but he could be the next Guardiola. But then again, there have been lots of assistants to great managers who've done who haven't done bits. So you can't just say, oh, he worked under Pep. So what? Sir Alex Ferguson, Carlos Queiroz, he's been a manager. He was one of Sir Alex Ferguson's assistants. Brian Kidd, I'm sure he's been a manager. Some people even say, oh well, he's worked on Wenger, innit? Apologise for the change of scenery, but I just came onto the train, obviously. People saying, oh, Wenger, well, he worked under Wenger. Wenger was a boss manager in his day, so he must know what he's doing. Well, Roy Keane, Steve Bruce, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have all been good managers. You never know, Solskjaer may improve United, but I don't think he in the long term could take them to where they want to be, or back to the top where they should belong. That side should belong. You can name lots of players who learn under great managers. That doesn't. Okay, let's put it this way. Sometimes the apprentice isn't as good as the master. The apprentice has to have his own unique talents and abilities. So it's not as simple to say, to have that kind of, to make that kind of extrapolation, if that makes sense. I think. I wouldn't say we're making a mistake, I don't want to be too negative, but I do think, frankly, that we could do better, and we should do better in our precarious situation. Another argument is that, Emery was experienced. Well, so what? Just because that doesn't mean hiring someone who is experienced is inherently bad, or something you should avoid. Thing is, there is risk in all appointments. How can there not be? But that doesn't mean, surely you have to minimise risk. Arsenal's a business. Any business has to minimise risk ultimately. So Arteta for me, definitely not the right fit, but I do believe he does have something to offer, or he can offer something, and I'll give him his support, albeit I have strong reservations about him. So that's Arteta. It seems for me that his appointment is imminent. All the Sky Sports and stuff, and all the journalists who are in the know, people like Ozil Bellerin, obviously he's Spanish, so he takes an interest in his compatriots and shit, how they're doing. He took an interest in Emery. He gives good info on obviously from his home country, Real Madrid and Barcelona and shit. So that is that. I'm not sure if Arteta is going to be doing the home game again. Ironically, against what would be Everton. He obviously was a good player for them too. So, we'll see. So then, that's Arteta done. I want to talk about this Aubameyang thing and Ozil. Now, Aubameyang, I don't know why. Well, okay, his brother posted something about Arteta's imminent transfer, and he was saying something. Well, the gist of it essentially was, he's not experienced, so what's he doing managing Arsenal? He didn't say that verbatim, but that's kind of what he was essentially alluding to. So, Arteta, people saying, Auba, you're our captain. For fuck's sake, Auba's a grown man, his brother's a grown man. He is not responsible for what his brother does. Yes, it's not a good look, but again, it's not it's not his thing. I don't see why, just because he's his brother. He's not his son. Even if it was his adult son, you're still not control of what your adult son does, and you probably shouldn't be. Obviously you can guide them, it's like your kid and stuff, but as an adult you should be free to make your own choices and live your own life. So he's not his kid's son. He's not a boy. So that's one thing. Two, if Auba told, I should say Pierre-Emerick told, I think it's Willie, I think his brother's name or something like that, post this. And how do you know that? If that were true, that's a big fucking if, then yeah, I'll be wrong. But personally, I think Arsenal fans need to stop being so reactionary online and on Twitter and stuff. Last point is this Ozil and Bellerin thing with China. Ozil, I would say, was wrong to say what he said, largely for the commercial thing. Now, he's a Muslim, so he's going to have an affinity with other Muslims around the world that are being persecuted, just as a Christian would, or Hindu, Buddhist, Jew. Human beings, we are social animals. The collective is strong in human nature. It has to be, because we live in groups. We form affinities with people like us, so that's normal, that's natural. But the thing is that China's a big emerging football market, and really Ozil should be saying stuff to fuck up our finances potentially, especially with the peak times that our football club is going through. I think that's ill-advised, frankly, and really you should have run that through the PR department, the media communications, even as high up as say fucking Raul, even the board, people like Sir Chips. If Sir Chips is still there, I heard he was wanting to leave, but whatever. But yeah, now the Bellerin thing. Obviously the election has come and gone. It'll be a week tomorrow. We're recording this on Wednesday. That the election happened. Obviously the Tories won a huge majority. The biggest majority they had since Thatcher was PM. Obviously that was a long time ago, but essentially he was beating up Corbyn and Labour, and essentially said verbatim, fuck Boris. Now, I have no issue with that. Now, people will be saying, well, how could we have no issue with Bellerin, but you do with Ozil? Ozil hurts the club financially, or that has the potential to hurt the club financially. And more money for the club means more money that we can spend on players, spend on improving our facilities. I know we already got boss training facilities. Our stadium is 13, 14 years old, but still is boss in the grand scheme. Our facilities generally as a club, our youth academy are still world class, and they will be in the future, in the foreseeable future. But it doesn't matter, if we're to get top four, we still need as much commercial income and much TV income as possible. And if we've been shut out of one of the biggest football markets or emerging football markets in the world, that's not good news. That's not good news for KR. I'm sure Stan Kroenke and Josh will probably be cussing out loud for that, because again, they're in it for the money. Ill-advised. Now let's cut to the chase here. Boris Johnson, does he give a flying fuck what some Arsenal player, albeit a popular one, and obviously we're a big club in England, tradition in the world. Does Boris Johnson, really Tory, give a flying fuck what some fucking professional football player for Arsenal says? So many other celebrities, and Bellerin is a celebrity. He's a he does meet the definition of a celebrity. So many other celebrities in various fields, actors and singers and journalists, and so many people are saying we're on the anti-Tory train. No one. Do you think Boris Johnson gives a fuck? He probably would say, so what? That's just his opinion. He's got a majority of 80. Get Brexit done, which was he can move on, and I do agree incidentally that as a country we do need to move on from Brexit. It's too much now. We just have to accept that Remain lost and Brexit leave won. That's just the way life rolls. That's just the way shit rolls. You have to move on. And bear in really. That's just an opinion, but the effect and the result of the opinion is different, and that's why for me it's not even a double standard. For me it's common sense. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, especially when you're in peak times, because our revenues have declined relative to the last 4 or 5 years because we're not in the Champions League. So on a number of levels then it's not good. One can argue the Chinese authorities, the CCP whatever, or whoever owns, well obviously it's the CCP that owns the TV, are being hasty, but again, they don't want people criticising them from overseas. Why not? Why should they? So from their standpoint they wouldn't want that. That's understandable from their standpoint, so that's why I make the distinction. But there's been a lot of news lately